Hi, welcome back to the Goalkeeping Podcast. I'm Paul Sherratt.
I'm Martin Brennan.
And I would like to discuss the topic with you that I'm pretty sure that players are fitter than goalkeepers. Way fitter.
No chance.
End
of podcast.
I've been to many sessions over the years, pro clubs, amateur clubs, whatever. I've seen these players working their nuts off. They're doing 3-on-3s, 2-on-2s. They're running around. They're doing, they're taking their pod out and they've run 15k, 20k in a session. They're sweating. They've had a tough session. I've looked across to the keepers. They're jumping over 3 hurdles, doing a roly-poly, rolling over a bit, jumping in the top corner and sitting around having a chat.
So the 2v2s and 3v3s, which you just said, yeah?
Yeah.
How many players are normally in the squad?
20, 30, 25?
Yeah. How many goalies are there normally?
Four max, 3?
At a massive club.
Okay.
So
2 then. 2.
So we'll average 2.
Okay.
So it's 2 of us.
Yeah.
So while they're doing the 2v2s and 3v3s,
yeah,
they're now resting probably 2 sets, aren't they? Whoever's just been in, the 2 that's just been in, they've had their 30 seconds.
They're working hard though, aren't they, during those sets?
And then they've
gone
gone
out. The heart rate's
high,
looking good, isn't it?
But then they've got 15 minutes to bring it back down
15
again because they're waiting for the next go. So when that happens, Group 1 come on, the goalies are still at each end. Then when Group 2 come on, the goalies are still at each end. And you see where I'm going with that, yeah? So they do get rests.
Yeah, but okay,
Right.
what's going to make you fitter? A short, sharp burst at a high heart rate and then rest and then go again, i.e. shuttle runs type scenario, or a steady session at a lower or the average heart rate.
Who's doing the steady session, though?
These keepers.
What keepers?
These 2 keepers that we've got in the club that are, they're catching a few balls, they might kick a few balls.
Was this Robo-keeper, by any chance? Because he doesn't need to work, does he?
No, this isn't Robo-keeper.
No, fine.
No.
So the difference is that the goalkeepers is a very, very different fitness, of which I've actually tested this before, especially pre-season.
So it's a different fitness.
It's a different fitness.
Is this defined in any way?
I've actually done the experiment, and I've put a player in goal in a pre-season training camp.
Yeah.
And within 35 seconds, they're blowing out their backside.
Yeah, but have you put a goalkeeper in a players session, and they're also struggling with that?
Sorry, what did you say?
Have you put a goal? You've put a player.
Should we just
You've put a player in goal, and he's blown out of his arse. I've now taken the goalkeeper. Whilst you're doing that, I've taken the keeper over to my group because I'm representing the players in this particular scenario, and made him work in that environment, and he's also blown out
and
his
smashed it. So 20 years ago, I'd agree with you, 100%. If you took Edison out of the goalie area, and you put him in the session, and you put him in centre midfield, for example, he wouldn't look out of place whatsoever, and I don't think fitness-wise he'd look out of place either. If you took David Seaman 20 years ago out, I think it looked quite different then.
Ooh.
And that's not a disrespect on David Seaman. I still think he's probably the best 1 or 2 goalies ever lived in the Premier League with Schmeichel.
Yeah.
I think the game has evolved immensely, and I think some of these goalies could generally go and do a job in midfield and be just as fit as the players. Yeah.
You like a golf analogy.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm taking I wouldn't say he was large, but I'm taking a Monty. I'm taking a Colin Montgomery.
Yeah.
Yeah. He wasn't the fittest in the world, was he?
No.
And I'm putting him against Tiger. Brings a new level to the game, fitness, attitude, and so on and so forth. Competing at the same level.
Yeah.
So you're saying that David Seaman was Monty, and you're saying Edison is Tiger Woods?
No, I'm not going to agree with that.
Okay.
Because I think it does David Seaman a disservice. I don't know why. I just think it does.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. Let's put it this way.
Both quality keepers, both quality golfers.
Yep.
Obviously, Monty never won a major, but apart from that,
yeah,
European number one for 7-8 years in a row.
For me, it's a different fitness completely. Do the players cover more ground in a match? Yes, there's a truth behind that. There is. Whether it's 8K, 9K, 10K, whatever it is, the goalie's going to cover what? 1, 2, 3K. So there is an evidence to go, look, on a match day, they'll cover more ground.
Can I throw another one at you?
How many are you throwing at me?
Maybe this is a better analogy.
Mm-hmm.
Is it that, for example, the goalkeepers are 100-metre runners and the outfield players are 1,500, 3,000, 5,000, i.e. the long-distance runners they look at the sprinters and go, what did you do tonight? I did 10 sessions, 10 times 10 seconds.
Yeah.
What? Well, you only ran for 100 seconds? What, all night? Yeah, it was pretty intense, and we did starts and stuff like that. But it was pretty intense.
Yeah, starts and swimming.
What did you do? I did 6 times 800 meters.
Yeah, well done, you. That's really good for you. But I've done my bit. It's the same as darts and swimming, isn't it?
I'm a bit disappointed.
Different fitness.
I'm now defending the goalkeepers, but I was adamant that the players are fitter. But I'm now coming to a different type of fitness.
It's a different type of fitness, without a doubt. You couldn't randomly put a player in goal in pre-season and ask them to do a lot more the old school core work that the goalies do.
But you're saying, I get that. But so actually, what you're saying is, it is a different type of fitness, but it's a bigger advantage for the keeper to be closer to the type of fitness that a player has than it is for a player to be closer to the type of fitness that a keeper has.
I lost you, if I'm really honest. And I have to work on honesty.
Yeah.
When you said keeper and then went off on one, I lost you. So I'm just going to agree with you. We'll edit this and just go, yes.
Okay. Well, now we're clear on that point.
Yep.
I'm starting to come to your side that keepers... Who works the off? Let's start.
Bearing in mind, glove glue is a goalkeeping business.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of advice.
Go on.
The goal union is quite tight network.
Probably best not to alienate them.
I'd probably try and stay within the network and come outside the network and fight the network. But that's your call.
Without a doubt, keepers are way fitter.
Oh,
way
there
fitter.
You go.
I don't even know why we're discussing this.
Whether you agree, you don't agree.
Why are we discussing this?
You have to agree.
Why are we even doing a podcast on this?
You have to agree. Because it only takes one of them to tell the other one, and that's it. It gets round the circle.
Okay, I'll come at it from a different angle.
Another different angle.
Is it an advantage to be super fit as a goalkeeper as opposed to being I'm okay fit? Is it a massive advantage?
Oh, massively, yeah. And I think psychologically that helps as well.
So what extra bits of fitness do I need? Do I need stamina?
I think for goalkeeping fitness, things like badminton I think is good for footwork. Things like swimming I think is good for burning fat. Things like skipping, like I would try and do as many different things as possible that involves an enjoyment rather than just I need to lose weight. I'm gonna do a fat burning run. Why do you just have to run? Why don't you go and do something that's a little bit more enjoyable?
So are you saying it's explosive?
Yeah,
fitness?
Loads and loads of lots of explosive.
So for a keeper, high intensity for a couple of minutes is arguably better than lower intensity for 10 minutes.
Yeah, if you look at the pattern of the game, right, you might stand for 12 minutes. Sorry, not stand. You might be scanning a pitch and walking around and readjusting your starting positions for 12 minutes. That 12-minute hits, and all of a sudden the ball comes over the top. You're now sprinting 8 yards, 10 yards, 12 yards to come and deal with that ball. Once you've dealt with that ball, you might then jog back into your area. You might now sit for 5, 6, stand for 7 minutes scanning the pitch. Yeah, you might then have to come out for a cross. So having that explosive power but accessible over a long period of time. How good do I sound, by the way?
You do.
It doesn't make sense, but
No,
I sound
I know.
nuts at the minute.
As if you knew what you were
going to
talking
keep
about.
going
Yeah,
with
it's
it.
good. You keep going.
Yeah, having that for such a long period of time can play to the goalkeeper's advantage, and also psychologically keeps you involved in the game. The game can drain the goalie quite a lot because it's a lot of analysis. It's a lot of analysing. It's working things out. So fitness-wise for the goalie, darts is quite good.
No, you've blown your argument out of the water then.
Yeah,
I get the mental.
too far.
Darts, come on.
I went straight to the pub.
Darts.
Well, it's standing at times, long period of time.
There's no explosive.
You're analysing.
No explosive movements in darts.
Well, how do you throw the dart then?
Okay, I've got an explosive movement on my right arm.
Okay.
Yeah. In darts.
I'll let you continue your opinion, and then I'll wait
for half a second.
Yeah. So darts.
Darts.
Yeah, is a good sport for goalkeeping.
I'm not feeling it.
No. Okay. So I think Paul's lost us here now. So yeah, I'm going to agree with Paul that goalkeeping is 100% the fitter player. He's back in the room.
I'm back in the room. I'm going to slightly change the subject. You mentioned pods. I have had 3 conversations in the last couple of months. Is there a specific pod, and this is the tracking pod that all players wear these days, for goalkeepers? Which got me thinking, at a pro level, obviously the players are wearing pods, but the keepers aren't wearing pods. Or are they?
Some do in training, yeah. Yeah, some do. I'm not a massive one for that. I never really have been. I think for players it's outstanding because you can literally see the yardage they've covered, at what speed, over periods of time. With goalies, some goalie coaches do make them wear them, yeah. So
okay,
I think, and I could be wrong, I think there is a specific GPS or whatever you call it now, heart rate monitor for goalies that measures when they hit the ground, that measures the short, sharp distances they're covering, how long it takes them. I think there is.
Okay.
If that's because I've got a feeling that's what you're going to ask me. No.
I did get asked that question. I didn't think there was, but the technology is moving pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Where I was coming from was,
right.
Is there a technical way to solve this argument? So let's take a pro club environment again. Fitness levels are measured. How are they measured? Yeah. Are all players measured on the same basis? Because if all players are measured on the same basis, your argument that it's a different level of fitness is blown out of the water. Because if a pro club's saying, no, we're measuring all the guys or girls on the same level, and these are the fitness tests that we do, then the only way for that to work from your perspective is that, but that's fine, but actually the goalkeepers are allowed to be in a different sphere of fitness than the players.
I don't think you can ever nail down the two fitnesses and compare them.
You're not answering my question.
I know I'm not.
At a pro level, I'm a goalkeeper. Are you going to measure, whoever it is in the club that does it, you're going to measure my fitness levels?
It can be measured, yes.
And you're going to measure that. Okay. Are you going to measure that against every player in the squad? Yes.
Yeah.
You're going to measure it against how I've developed?
Yeah.
Either up or down, depending on whatever.
Yeah.
How am I then how am I using that information as a club? Am I just looking at the goalkeepers to see the fitness of my pod of goalkeepers, my group of goalkeepers? Or am I saying, Monty over there, he's not working very hard as a goalkeeper, but old Tiger Woods, he's just done 15. He's the fittest member in the squad.
Yeah, I think the staff members can use that when selecting teams, and I think it's an opportunity for the manager to potentially replace a player with another player in the team. It's an easy out.
But is it used with the keepers? You're not playing this week because you're not fit. Based on the stats I just read, you're not as fit as the major keeper.
The major ones I've witnessed at pro level is a lot of the body fats for goalies. I've witnessed.
You're not playing this week because you're too fat.
I've witnessed 2 or 3 goalies at pro level where that scenario has happened, yeah. And it's a case of we need to get their body weights down, their body fats down. Of which one goalie I've ever had in all my time, I failed miserably trying to do that because he didn't want to change himself.
My conclusion / suggestion on that conversation would be that the levels of body fat in goalkeepers are likely to be higher than the levels of body fat in players.
I would disagree.
Okay.
And the reason I disagree, because I don't think there's any truth to it. I'm now thinking of 2 random player and goalie, and the player's 10 times fitter / body fats are a lot lower. I've just thought of 2 random people.
So that's good for your argument then. So that's now
Completely.
suggesting that keepers, if we're basing it on body fat amongst other things, level of fitness is better. But I really thought I'd got you on that one.
No, I was always in control of what I was doing. I just started using fancy words.
Yeah.
And I want to go game of darts.
No, I did not feeling the darts.
No?
Really. No, I think that's a poor argument. I think your argument.
Yeah.
I'm quite happy, in the absence of any other routes of argument from my side, to concede.
Yeah.
In particular, based on the comments regarding the GK Union and glove glue, that both goalkeepers and players can have a average level of fitness that means neither side, if you want to call them side, has to be higher or lower than the other side. That's the politician's answer.
Yeah. There is just 2. I just think they're 2 completely different fitnesses. And are they measurable? Yes. Think about the goalie's height, the height they jump, that can be measured. So that could be measured against us. But the counteract with that is that you might be able to jump higher than me, yeah? But I might be able to read the flight. So taking out crosses, I might read the flight of the ball better than you, more effectively than you. So it's like, yeah, but hold on a minute. It says you can jump 2 foot taller than me. But if I read the flight better, who should start the game? If that's what the manager's going to choose from that evidence, what's the manager going to go on?
Can I just throw one more in there?
You've thrown a lot at me, I must admit.
You've been very good at batting it back.
Thank you.
We have mentioned this individual in podcasts before. I forget his name and the club. Forgive me for the club, the fans of this club, and maybe perhaps the fans of the keeper. The pie-eating FA Cup goalkeeper of several years ago.
Do you want me to name the club?
Yes, please.
I think it was Sutton.
Sutton United. He would never make it into being a player. I'm suggesting he wasn't the fittest individual, but he was able to command a place in that team as the number 1 goalkeeper.
Yeah.
And clearly had a level of fitness way below the players.
Yep.
Are you telling me there was a different level of fitness that was driven by his diet of pies?
By the pie-eating goalkeeping coach?
Yes.
Yes. I mean, that opens a different kettle of fish completely, that, because...
Oh, was he the coach of the player? No, he played, yeah? I think he played, didn't he?
No, he didn't play. You're talking about the one that was on the bench against Arsenal.
Okay, so he's in the squad but wasn't selected.
Who upset a lot of goalie coaches, including myself.
Well, he did.
Just because it was like, this is who we are, this is who what we represent.
Yeah, I mean, you would never get your pies from Pucker, you buy yours from M&S.
Or Tesco if you're having a tough time, like I am.
Yeah.
No, that was, I don't know where you're going with that, because there was no levels of fitness at all.
No.
But
the point that where I'm coming from is, if I'm not fit, I'm talking lower levels of the game.
Yeah.
an unfit goalkeeper might get selected. An unfit player probably wouldn't get selected because an unfit keeper might be able to get away with it more than an outfield player who's going to get massively exposed because he or she can't.
Of course. Again, 20 years ago, I would say 100% yes. Now, I wouldn't say so much 100%. I think the mentality of managers with goalkeeping fitness has also changed dramatically. I generally believe that. Because if you look at the average size, and we could actually do this as an experiment, the average size of a goalie 30 years ago and the average size of a goalie today at any level, I would imagine that it's a lot lower. Body fats are a lot lower. Pounds and stones are a lot lower. And I'd back myself to...
But that's probably true in most professional sports, isn't it?
Swimming?
Apart from darts, obviously, as you've mentioned.
Yeah, darts. We spoke about that the other day. I spoke to the manager about that the other day, actually.
Are they fitter now? Are the darts players fitter than they?
Fitter. Yeah. Which is good, right? That's what we...
Yeah. So any professional stroke, but isn't that just education, diet, nutrition, education?
Of course it is, yeah. Yeah.
We know, I'm a professional sportsman, and therefore I need to be generally fitter.
Yeah, but with darts, there's now what 2-3 million people watching. Where years ago there wasn't. So I think that has changed. But
I don't know. Jockey Wilson, Eric Bristow, John. I mean, there were millions watching that.
Oh, that's I'm not that
old to know
go back that far. But
so let's just draw this in for some conclusions. The takeaways are. I don't think either one is fitter than the other because I think they're different fitnesses. Okay.
But if you take a goalkeeper and put them in a player's session, I'd back my goalie to survive. If you took a player into my goalie session, I'm not 100% they would survive.
Well, I'm going to do exactly that with the Chadlington under-16s next week. And bear in mind, this is their first game back after summer holidays. God knows what the 15, 16-year-olds have been up to in the summer holidays, but that will be an interesting exercise. I'm off to get a pucker pie.
I'm playing darts.
That was the Goalkeeping Podcast. We'll see you next time.